Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit TRE.radio.
Discuss, challenge, inform, comment, Viewpoint on Talk Radio Europe.
Giles Brown.
Live comment and discussion with studio guests. Viewpoint.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 2nd of June. You're listening to Viewpoint, Talk Radio Europe's current affairs discussion show, where we look at some of the issues in the news with a panel of invited guests. We can talk about something international. It can be low. It can be national. It can be local. If you want to make your comment, get your viewpoint across about, I don't know, electric scooters. If you think, if you got stuck here, if you've been stuck for 2 hours on the roads, it would normally take you 20 minutes. Yes, indeed. Thank goodness for Google Maps. I avoided that one yesterday. Then you can come and stand on your soapbox and get your views known. And these are indeed the numbers.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95. Message us on Facebook, Talk Radio Europe Official, or tweet us at TRE Talk Radio.
And I'm joined in the studio this morning by the A-team. Good morning, Alia. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Giles. I'm still breathing, which is definitely better than the alternative.
Yes, the alternatives are somewhat more.
Indeed.
Yes, but
somewhat one way. I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
You floated in on a cloud of loveliness this morning, and you were like, "There's traffic, and we're not even." Well, yeah. In fact, I'll be also asking, what do you out there, listeners? What do you consider the first sign of summer? That summer's descended upon us. Personally, it's supermarkets being open on Sundays. That is when that happens. No, it's true.
It's true.
When the supermarkets, I was passing by my usual, I was perusing the discount must sell today. And there was a fine amount of pulpo galego and pufferfish, which was must be eaten by today, it will kill you. And when I got my receipt, it said now open Sundays from the 1st of June until I think it's the 30th of September. I think. So that
is your sign of summer.
That's my sign of summer. Everybody else goes, leaping over bonfires or something, or the swallows, or they can hear the cicadas. Mine is the supermarkets open on a Sunday. And
good morning, everyone. It used to be the traffic, but now the traffic is all year round, so it doesn't count anymore.
Well, it's summer all year round here in certain parts of the TRE region.
So temperatures can be a good sign that the summer is here. Mm-hmm. We're going to reach 33 today. So
I think we've drifted into the third plane of Hades. Never mind anything else.
Yeah. Have you seen the temperatures are up in India and Pakistan? 47.
47.
Climbing. I am very glad I'm not there.
Yes.
And I feel very sorry for the people and animals and wildlife which are there.
I was in another because I spend a lot of time when I'm not on the radio. I spend all my time in supermarkets because they're nice and cool. But somebody said was
it your legs I saw hanging out of one of those deep freeze? There was lying gracefully on top of all the
reclining on the prawns, yes. And this woman said, "You have to let me go in front because I got my dog in the car." And the other woman replied, "I got my husband in the car." It's like top trumps. What would you say first? I know you'd all save your dogs, but there you go. Let's have a look at and you've managed to tear yourself away from the French Open. I'm very impressed.
I'll go and rejoin the French Open as soon as we finish here.
It's a nighttime event these days, isn't it? Because of the temperatures.
Of course.
Yeah, some matches are playing in the evening, which is quite nice. But it's very, very interesting this year, where you can't call the winner yet.
Yes.
When other times, more or less, you would know that either Sinner or Alcaraz would, and before it would be either Djokovic or Nadal or Federer. Yeah. This year we'll have a new major champion.
Yes.
And we don't know, or we cannot guess who's going to be. So it's quite interesting. Yeah, I like it. I like it like that.
Very young players this year.
Very young players.
Very young players.
Good batch of 19, 20-year-olds coming through. They're very exciting.
Somewhat like our own panel, everybody here in the studios, a batch of youngsters just coming through to the prime of our winners. Let's look at the front pages of the papers this morning. The latest documents in the UK released by the government relating to Lord Peter Mandelson feature prominently on many front pages. The Guardian says they show show he was given private briefings by heads of the intelligence agencies while still undergoing security vetting. The Times reports that Lord Mandelson set up meetings between ministers and his lobbying company before his appointment was finalised. The Daily Mail refers to the peer as a poisonous puppet master, noting the Svengali-like influence he's exerted on the government and his withering contempt for the man who leads it. The Daily Mirror says the messages have revealed Lord Mandelson's extraordinary treachery, while the iPaper says the messages show how quickly some of Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's key allies lost faith in his ability to lead the government. The paper also claims that the peer was advised by civil servants to give artificial information about his personal and business connections to vetting staff in order to obtain security clearances. Daily Express says Work and Pension Secretary Pat McFadden's published message that backbench MPs are only interested in who can we tax in order to pay benefits to others will haunt the party for the rest of the Parliament and beyond. It compares it to the note left by Liam Byrne for a coalition government in 2010, which said there is no more money left. The Financial Times says the release of the documents further undermines the Prime Minister and shows Lord Mandelson sought to wield influence far beyond his role. Telegraph's editorial notes of Lord Mandelson's appointment as US Ambassador rarely has a single personnel decision had such serious repercussions for a political leader. The Sun's editorial concludes, voters deserve to know the truth, however depressing. Yesterday they got it. Former England captain Kevin Keegan's admission of stage 4 cancer, a stage 4 cancer diagnosis, feature in the tabloids. The Mirror praises his warmth, humour and honesty in making the news public. The Daily Star hails his courage in announcing the news, calling him the definition of a football icon. Those from the top then, we have Mandelson files reveal security briefings before vetting passed. That is The Guardian. The iPaper, Mandelson files reveal how the PM's authority crumbled. Mandy, hire me, you'll not regret it. That was the astonishing boast before doomed job offer. That's the Metro. Meanwhile, the Daily Mail, Labour's poisonous puppet master and a £1 million cover-up. The Independent, Mandelson's verdict on Starmer, bereft and beleaguered. The Mandelson file, says the Daily Mirror. What is left to hide? Financial Times, and they have Mandelson files lay bare frustration at lack of verve in the Starmer premiership. Meanwhile, the Daily Telegraph, every meeting I have is who can we tax to pay benefits for others? The Daily Express leads with the same headline. Every meeting I have is who can be taxed to pay benefits. Labour only asks who can be taxed to pay benefits. That's the Times. Shock tax for benefits complaint by Minister confirms all we knew. Keir's Labour is the welfare party. And the Daily Star. Daily Star leads on Kevin Keegan, who said that his doctor treating this cancer is a Liverpool fan. Keegan, I knew I wouldn't be walking alone. And those are your headlines on this Tuesday, the 2nd of June.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95. Message us on Facebook, Talk Radio Europe Official, or tweet us at TRE Talk Radio.
So, more files. Prime Minister's still there. We seem to be in a summer of having beleaguered prime ministers. Not only do we have a beleaguered prime minister in the UK with Sir Keir Starmer, it's a summer of discontent for Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's brothers. They had one case dropped, but he's still got quite a few to go because of his position as
got 36 of them.
Well, one down, 36 to go. I mean, so that's we've got Zapatero, of course, the files there. Partido Popular headquarters being raided since we last spoke.
Did you see the jewellery which was found in?
Yes. shoeboxes and that sort of thing.
Shoeboxes?
No, it was a safe.
A safe.
A proper safe,
Yes.
in his
and
office.
then they opened it and they found
holding all
this jewellery.
All this jewellery, which we don't know what it is yet.
It's
but I mean, in
mine.
a safe, you wouldn't put.
It was mine. They stole it. Now I
It's
know
yours.
finally where it is.
Well, you know what media are like, and you got all these experts analysing the jewellery. I don't know how they can do it from a photograph. I guess they can't. But they say if it's all real, which I imagine if it was in a safety box, it would be of certain value. But they reckon that it could be valued at around 10 million euros.
That's what I
That's
thought.
what I mean. You don't really know. I mean, these all there's some called experts that appear on TV saying, this is emerald or whatever.
It's very easy to come up with that sum today because you just calculate the price of the actual coloured stones, where they're coming
From a photograph?
and the diamonds.
Can you do that from a photograph?
Not properly. You have to have the pieces in your hand and go through them with a loop or a proper magnifying.
Let's put it this way. It appears it could be very valuable.
It looked it.
On the face of it.
The pictures I saw.
It looked it, yeah. But we won't know until it's properly, valued as such.
Has to be done properly.
But in any case, how bad it looks, just the look of it, just to have a safety box with jewellery, and also when the police arrived, they didn't want to give the key, so eventually the lawyer said it would be better if we give them the key, because if they open, they will end up opening it, because the police have got the means, to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the story on that one, and then you've got the brother in court at the moment, although that case, I have to be fair to Sanchez's brother. I always thought it was a very weak case. This is the case where he was appointed director of arts
in Badajoz.
In Badajoz, which is a provincial town of 150,000 people. So you see, it wasn't a big appointment. But if you look at his CV, which was published, he's got quite an amazing CV. He's got masters in music, and he's just like a director of orchestra and everything. So it's quite quite a good CV for a post like that. I mean, whether he was the job was created. That's what he's being accused. That the job was created and given to him because he was a brother. Sort of. But I think that's quite a weak case when in Spain, every nephew and cousin or anything,
any funcionario
is been appointed by some friend or relative or whatever. So I don't think that it's a case.
Giles's imaginary brother is chief of all the potholes along the street of Estepona.
I know. I'm head of the Grua. I'm head of the Grua.
You have a lot of experience with them.
I have a lot of experience with the Gruas. Yes, indeed. No, it's not. It's at the moment. It's not looking good for Sanchez. I mean, the Reuters said he's running out of road. I'm talking about potholes and Gruas because it's. Although he's getting lauded abroad for his stance against, Donald Trump and calling out atrocity, in Gaza, he's coming under fire even, from some of his own party. I mean, he hasn't been named himself in any of the to date. He's not been named, and he is known as sort of Teflon, isn't he? The way goes.
I think he's just about to be named in the latest raid of the head office of the Socialist Party. He will come out on that one. I'll tell you why. This case, which is different to all the others, this is a case where, I don't know if you remember, was it a year ago or 2 years ago when he said the wife was accused of wrongdoing, and he announced to the country that he was going to take 5 days off to think about his position as Prime Minister. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Vaguely, yeah.
Apparently, he was very, very upset that the wife had been charged, and what he allegedly did was to create a team of people that will work on discrediting the judicial system, the prosecutors and the judges and everything else, just to throw the public opinion in his favour, as opposed to all the doubts, creating doubts over the judiciary. for that, he needed to allocate funds, which funds they came from commissions, illegal commissions, to pay the people who would do that work. And the raid of the police in the head office was to find evidence of, one, that those people were working to do that, and secondly, that they were financed illegally as well. And I think there, eventually, his name will appear somewhere when the police find it and go through the papers. We don't know, because this hasn't happened yet, but it's my guess that he probably will.
Don't you see enormous parallels with what is going over the pond in America? This is also something with the DOJ, so-called Department of Justice, which is anything but. And I was struck by all of this grafting and grifting going on by something else which came up in Albania. Kushner and his wife Ivana Trump bought for 1.2 billion euros. In fact, a wildlife preserve, and they want to put a luxury hotel up on it. And Hoxha, who is the president, changed the law to allow them to do it. Now, the whole of the government buildings and where he's staying is being bombarded by people saying, no, you're not going to do this. And this is another thing which is coming about. You know, it's all sort of ties in one thing with the other going around. It's like a huge spider web of grift, which is going on in every single party in politics that you can see. It's not just one country, it's everywhere.
I think it's everywhere. And I think this has happened over the years, certainly after the Second World War, in democratic countries where there has been maneuvering of governments to do this, that, and the other. I think the difference now is that with all the devices that we have and all the ability to investigate, especially the free press. Don't forget, all these scandals, the majority of them, whether in America or they're here in Spain, they're discovered by the press. The press investigates, finds the evidence, they publish it, and force the institutions to just look into it, because you can't do it from a press article, but then you're forced to investigate it, and then they find the evidence, and then they take them to court. But I don't think that happened years ago. I remember when I lived in Italy, the corruption was well known by everyone.
Look at Berlusconi.
Well, before Berlusconi, I'm talking before, you know, when, just Aldo Moro and the rest of them after that, you know. So there was a lot of corruption scandals there that were linked to the mafia and this, that, and the other, but it wasn't. They never seemed to be as vocal and on the press and on the judicial system as much as they are now.
That has to do also, doesn't it? We come on the same old thing, coming back to social media. In one way, it's a horrible thing to have. On the other hand, it's a very good thing to have, because all of these things are giving a bigger and more vociferous platform. So people who haven't had a clue behind years ago now can find everything that they want to. So on one hand, it's a very good thing. I'm so sorry about my voice. Always when I come in here,
I know.
It goes cuckoo.
It must be the effect you have on us.
Oh yes, no, you're having on me.
Yeah, something like that. Yes. But it is.
Excuse me.
Are we better? Yes, indeed. But it's it is interesting. It's interesting as well to note the above. The problem is, of course, especially here, is at the moment with Spain is saying we've still got what is it till at least another year, June next year before the election.
Well, the election should be in July 2027.
Yeah.
I think there is a little bit of margin of 2 or 3 months from that date, whether before or after. There is a small margin to call it, but let's call it July 2027. There should be the election. What the opposition party now they're trying to do is just to all these parties that they support Sanchez in government, they're saying, look, the Socialist Party is obviously deep in corruption and you're supporting this government. let the government drop. Let's call for a motion of no confidence, and from there we can call a new general election now, rather than having to wait another year of agony. That's the argument from that side. Now, for the parties supporting Sanchez, is to say, if we call a general election now, what will happen, or what the polls are saying that will happen, is that the Conservatives and Vox, which is extreme right, will win by large the general election, and we'd rather have Sanchez with his corruption in place than having Vox to do anything to do with government. Right. Now, that's not very democratic, if you ask me, because that's what people vote, that's what you should get, But that's their argument. And don't forget that those parties are normally nationalist, regionalist and separatist, and what they do when they support a government, they do it in exchange for something. They always want something in return, and if they go with the motion of no confidence and let Sanchez drop, they know they're not going to get anything from the right-wing government to give them any extra finance or any extra devolution to the regions. I'm talking here the Catalans and the Basques mainly. So that's why they're preventing that to happen. But it looks as if it's going to happen anyway. We might have to wait another 12 months, but it will happen. It looks inevitable, because these corruption cases that they're now in court, we slowly will start seeing sentences coming through. And once they've been sentenced by the court, it's very difficult to say, it wasn't me.
It's rather like better the idiot you know than the idiot you don't know.
Yes, indeed, something like that. Yes, I'm pondering that. We'll take a quick break and then back with more Viewpoint.
Viewpoint with Giles Brown.
Always lively. Well, I was asking what the first sign of summer, you thought the first sign of summer was. The sound of cicadas, the sangria, the first sangria being the first inappropriately dressed hen party staggering out of Puerto Banús at 3 in the afternoon, going, "Nah, Trish, me pina colada, nah." One of the great things of being on social media groups which are run by Spanish, there's one in Marbella called, what's it, Marbella Sequeira, what's his name, the guy who runs, anyway, so the people put that on, and I know exactly where this video was filmed on the socials. It's the avenue that goes between where Grey Down, do you remember Grey Albion, which was back in the 80s, was a place of, and the casino was there before?
I did a couple of very nice apartments there.
Did you really? Oh, wow.
In Playa del Duque as well.
Oh, well, yes.
When I was working.
Well, indeed. So, and then there's that, and it goes from there, and then you go along what used to be, and it used to look over a dusty car park with the English cinema there, back before your time, Andrew, right? And now, of course, and now it's got a hotel there, which perhaps caters for not the Khashoggis, I think we can probably say, and so there's like this walk of shame in the afternoon. That obviously, if you've had 18 Cuba Libras or whatever else, and you're in heels, not you, Andres, is far too much for anybody for Shaz and her friend Trace to negotiate. And it was there was a picture there's a guy, he might have been a taxi driver because it was by a cab rank, and these poor unfortunates, obviously somebody had spiked their 7-Ups, because obviously that wasn't what they were drinking, and they were absolutely rolling all over the place.
Oh my!
And it was 3 in the afternoon, and it was obviously the commentator on that one was not impressed, to put it mildly. So that could be your first sign of the summer. People in bikinis and things. If you've got a bikini and a piece of it's like a shawl, a tie, then that's for beach wear. It doesn't mean you should be wearing it when at the Marbella bus stop, as I saw a few weeks ago as well.
Do you remember a few years ago, before COVID,
BC?
BC, yes. There were a bunch of people who came down from Tawi.
Yes, of course.
And they were wandering around in the beach club. Is it La Sala Beach Club now?
It was probably Buddha Beach. I was the public relations. I was the public relations guy at the time.
Do you remember the man who was walking with just that budget?
Oh, that
folder?
thing, yes.
Yes.
I tried to forget that, but now you've just reminded me. Oh, ye gods.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
He wasn't the only one. There were some specimens wandering around.
That's a word for it.
Time.
That's a word for it indeed.
Really?
Anyway.
Really?
You
didn't see that, Andrea? That was something. Oh.
So anyway, Cookie, on other things, thinks the first sign is not a man in half a budgie smuggler parading on the beach. Cookie thinks that the cicadas are the first sign of the sound of cicadas is the first sign of summer. Meanwhile, it's this one. Good morning, Giles and guests. When I listen to the news and you're reading it, Giles, and talking about Sanchez and any of his friends or family with regards to corruption or other possible scandals, I detect a sense of glee and maybe a little bit of I told you so. Anyway, I'm a big fan of yours, but a bigger fan of Sanchez. And just wondering if anyone else has noticed it, or is it just my Irish brain, Carl from Torremolinos? You know, as somebody who gets on his Trotsky soapbox on a regular occasion on this show and shouts "No Pasaran," I haven't got any glee for Sanchez. I mean, Andres obviously is dancing a small jig at this point beneath the desk.
Well, I mean, you might like
go from here.
Think about it.
He just got very animated. By the way,
no animated. I mean, you could obviously you could agree with Sanchez and his policies. You might like the way that he legislates. You might like the way he handles things. You know, that's absolutely fine. What is not acceptable in our society is that his party and his closest circle are involved in all these corruption scandals.
Yeah.
You know, it's unacceptable. I know someone will probably say, oh, the PP government with Rajoy had the same problem, that's why they were ousted. But the cheek of going to put a motion of no confidence to Rajoy's government to say, we are going to be the ones who clean up the system and all be fair and all be clean and there will be no corruption anymore. And then to find that there was the same corruption or more is very, very disappointed. And I don't think it should be acceptable. It should be ousted just because he is harboring all these sea of corruption around him. And that's not to say that politically you may agree with his views. That's absolutely fine. But, you know, criminal cases like these ones shouldn't be accepted because they represent the voters. And there is a tacit contract between the voter and the politician who receives that vote to do the job that has been voted for, and taking backhanders and putting people in positions because of their influence and investigating judges and prosecutors and all that kind of thing, that shouldn't be allowed and not accepted by the voters themselves.
And we've talked about this, haven't we? People of power, people in power, what they seem to do and think they can get away with, and it's everywhere. It's not just here. It's everywhere.
Of course it's not. Of course it's everywhere. I'm sure it is. You know, there's cases in every country. Unfortunately, we have to deal with what we got here, where we have the influence is in the place where we live, you know, and we live in Spain, so we should influence that kind of behaviour. This will get you going, Andres, but even the leader of the Basque Nationalist Party, all right, one of your, obviously, said the legislature has reached its end, and he said the party, as he said, his party, i.e. the PNV, will not support a no confidence vote. He said that we find ourselves in a state of limbo where some judges lie and some politicians steal. People are deeply disillusioned, and the only thing preventing this government from falling is the alternative is infinitely worse. Well, that's the point that we made earlier, is that they don't want to let Sanchez go or fall because they think if there is an election, the right-wing parties will win, the PP and Vox will do a coalition, and for them that is a terrible thing. But what they don't realise is that that's democracy. That's what happens after 4 years. You know, people go and vote and decide whether, if you haven't done well, they won't vote for you and won't vote for an alternative. And that is what's going to happen. And what's the fear of that? Why fear Vox so much when we have to put up? I don't know if you remember the Vice President, Pablo Iglesias, the guy with the ponytail.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Podemos, I mean,
he was the leader of Podemos. He was a communist, and he was a vice president. And he was, the ministers of Podemos, they did such a dog's dinner of legislating, especially when it came down to the rape cases and all of that. They, it was all the lawyers that I spoke to says it's absolutely terribly redacted. Is going to let people out of jail, and that happened. It was in the hundreds, where reduced sentences, people who left the jail early because of that particular law. So they made a dog's dinner of it. We had to put up with all that, and now everyone is scared of Vox being in government. Well, I don't like Vox particularly, but one, I'm not scared of them. And secondly, they can only do what the law will allow them to do, because a lot of things that they're claiming are against the Constitution and they are against the law, so they won't be able to implement them. We've seen Meloni in Italy and how that turned out, that she promised to do this and that. We thought that Mussolini had, come back to power in Italy.
And in fact, it hasn't.
And it didn't. She is a reasonable conservative prime minister. Some people like her, some people don't, but she is not a radical person who's sending people to
Marine Le Pen,
shot in the middle of the street.
Marine Le Pen in France is far more radical than Meloni.
It appears so, but she hasn't been in power.
No,
so we don't really know. I think that when they get to power and they realise that there's a framework to work within, then all that radicalism disappears, or it will disappear. That's my hope anyway.
You've seen Meloni speak. She speaks very, very well. I mean, I speak Italian, so I listen to her and understand her in Italian. A, she's got an excellent command of the language. B, she talks sense. You might not agree with it, but what she says, she's making sense out to be. And she's, I think, swung a lot of people who were against her over towards her because of that.
Yeah, she probably gets the remains of the Berlusconi party, Forza Italia. They'll probably end up going and voting for her next election, so she doesn't need the coalition that she currently has. It's the whole of Europe. We are in the same situation politically. In Spain, we have the same situation politically, but in addition to that, we have a sea of corruption that we have to deal with, and it has to stop. I know it's difficult in Spain. We've so many cases of corruption all the time. Someone was saying to me years ago, it said, the good thing about Spain, if you're corrupted, you'll be caught and you'll end up in jail. That happened then, but it continues to happen now. So it seems that people don't see the possibility of getting caught until they are caught, and they keep doing it. So
952-784-1000. Quick break and then back with more Viewpoint.
Viewpoint with
Giles Brown.
Always live, always lively. If you wish to get your viewpoint across, something can be national, international, or even local. Here are the numbers.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95. Message us on Facebook, Talk Radio Europe Official, or tweet us at TRE Talk Radio.
And it's to the WhatsApps we go. Because, Andres, once again, you are inciting comment from our listeners. People are saying, sorry, what was that?
Right. Not again.
Indeed.
I guess that's what I'm here for.
You're here for that, exactly. Listen, what a fair, reasonable, common sense chappy Andres sounds. Bravo.
Oh my God! A positive one! A positive one! The first one, yay!
He sat there in silence.
Exactly.
He sat there in silence.
I said you've got a comment in, Andres, about fiddlesticks, he said, so there you go, you see. Well, thank you, Gary. A fair, reasonable, common sense chappy Andres. That's bravo.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you. You're happy now. Now then, moving swiftly onwards from that one. I want to go to our man in London, Morning D, who says, good morning, panel, from a rainy, foggy London. There's a tube strike, so all the roads are very busy here too. Building more roads is not the answer. look at the blocked 8-lane highways over in LA, Los Angeles, in case you didn't know. EV vehicles are not the answer either. They take up the same space as ICE vehicles. Okay, most cars are driven with single occupants driving around with 2 armchairs and a settee. Look at your car seats. I'd rather not have mine. The answer. last time I looked at my car seat, it waved back at me. The answer is better and cheaper public transport, with riding a motorbike the norm. We haven't the road space to carry on as we now do. The panel have any other solutions to the daily traffic jams we see, both here in Spain and in the UK or any other urban centre? I mean, gyrocar. Well, what happened to our jetpacks, Andreas?
The gentleman there, he's right. I mean, we sort of build more roads for more cars. The problem is that by the time the roads are built,
we have more cars.
There's more cars that can't cope. The bigger roads can't cope with the extra cars. Look at what happened in the tunnel in San Pedro.
Oh, God, yes.
That was going to release the terrible traffic that we had. But the increase in traffic has made that tunnel as bad as it was before.
You see backups.
But the M25 is another example.
Of course.
When it was built, it was going to be the solution, the ring road for London, and it was going to be so big and so many lanes and everything else. By the time it was finished, there were more cars than lanes again. Yeah. So it happens everywhere. Having said that, this is the single occupancy cars. There are some places, I think it's in LA, where in LA and other parts of America, because in Phoenix certainly is that you cannot, you have to be on one lane if you're a single occupancy or. They try to find solutions to the problem and try to avoid single occupancy cars, but it's not working very well.
Do you remember also before, and go back many, many, many years, because cars in Spain were much smaller too? Much smaller.
Of course, yeah.
Now you have these huge behemoths trundling down the road, taking up an enormous amount of space. Yeah. And it is also another thing.
Blame the Chinese.
Yes, and their sales, their public relations people are seen driving around. Yeah.
But that is another problem also, the size of the cars that we have today on the roads, and there's so many of them everywhere.
In the Costa del Sol, in terms of the traffic, the problem that we have here is that we have 2 roads. One is a toll road, and the other one, which is the old coastal national road. And the free one cannot cope with the level of traffic that we get, especially in the summer months. But now it's all year round, as we said before. Yeah. And the toll road, we should relieve that other road, is so expensive.
Indeed.
And in the summer, when you would want to use it more because there's more people and more traffic, they increase the price. Yes. So now to go from Malaga to Manilva in the summer costs you 20 euros one way. So you want to do a return trip, it costs you 40 euros. I mean, 40 euros just to use a road.
It's totally rubbish, isn't it? If you think of the economics of the thing, I mean, put the prices down, relieve the congestion on the N340, but they will still have their revenue coming in because more people will use the toll road than that. I mean, I would.
If it was reasonable, I would use it. I guess I would use it more.
Put the prices down in summer. Get the congestion off the beach road, so to speak. But they don't. As you said, they put them up.
The problem is that there are these concessions from the state. They're private concessions, so you got a contract that you have to.
Rubbish.
You would have to pay it off, and it would probably be so expensive to do it until the lease. I don't know if their lease is as leases in England, but the term finishes. There's very little that they can do because it's a concession to a private company that they run the business the way they want.
Well, they're not thinking very much, are they? We're all hamstrung anyway.
There must be a way where local authorities and national authorities or regional, everyone should get together to force these companies to do something about the pricing so more people can use it. especially in the peak months. Maybe, I don't know, some solution like local people can use it at a discounted fee, or sort of you get a card, special card that you read it and say you're local, so you get a discount, or something like that, something to help to unlock the roads, because the summer becomes very, very long waiting, sitting in the traffic.
I used to have a scooter, which I gave up years ago, and I was thinking of getting a new one. However, seeing the idiots and the maniacs, the way they drive on the roads today, that's gone out the window.
952784000. Morning, caller, you're live on TRE. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's the viewpoint, please?
Hi, Giles and guys. I'm only dipping in and... Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine, yeah.
Great. I'm only dipping in and out of this because I'm doing a plumbing job. But just to talk about the toll road, the A7, in fact, I don't know if you already mentioned this, when it was in its planning stage and construction, Meath Town Hall really campaigned as hard as they could to get it to be free, because they specifically wanted the traffic taken off the other road, the lower road. And of course, they lost the day.
Yeah.
But just to say that Meath really did its best and lost out. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No.
But rightly so. I think that all the councils around here should pressurise the Department of Transport that deals with these licences, and just get an agreement, some kind of agreement, so to make it affordable for local people, so there's some kind of relief in the traffic congestion, because this is getting worse and worse. Because if you look at the number of buildings going up, every time I look at a new building, I think that apartment may have one or two or maybe three cars more to add to the chaos here. So something has to be done to get to be able to move around, because
the people who are just using the roads normally, shall we say, who don't have a job, also, like yourself, you say you're doing a plumbing job. I mean, you're going to be tied because of the traffic on the roads as well, getting from point A to point B to do your job.
I was trying to get down to La Cala yesterday, and because of this huge crash that we had, and it was like, it said you're not going anywhere for 2 hours. Now, and luckily I had the option to turn around and go and do something else. But
guys.
Thanks very much, John, for your call.
Thank you. Bye.
So, but I mean, absolutely hamstrings everybody, because if you've got to be somewhere, or if you're sitting on because there's no trains, so if you're sitting on a bus trying to get to your place at 2 or get home after a long day at work, I mean,
you're stuck.
Cookie thinks they could offer discounts to residents that are registered on the Padron to use the toll road.
Yeah, that's one of the solutions. Hello, Cookie. That would be something that seems doable.
At least it would help.
And it would help the local people just to be able to move around. Certainly, that's a good idea. Cookie's got it right. She's in Galicia. Nice place.
She's moved down.
Has she? Oh, yeah. Welcome back then.
I think the mists and the snow and the mysticism, not the snow, but it's very foggy up there in Galicia.
But that would be a reasonable solution that is doable. Because I mean, some solutions like saying, get it free for everybody, that's not going to happen, because the company running it is going to say, well, you're going to have to compensate us for all the income that we're going to lose,
and the maintenance of the roads and all that.
And then, of course, the maintenance of the roads will be down to the taxpayers, and we're not going to be happy about that.
But definitely to do something so the residents who are Padronado in their various town halls should get a rebate. That's a very good idea, Cookie. Well done.
And Cookie says hi to Andreas, by the way. So
I'm not going to talk about the train.
Let's not talk about the train, because even though, having said that, even though the trains are stopping, and again, I'll be Costa del Sol based, stopping at Antequera at the moment, because they still haven't got the high-speed train going from Madrid to Malaga direct. They're still getting off in Antequera, but highest Semana Santa residency for years on the coast as well. And another thing that also caught my eye is we were talking about transport and talking about unmoded transport, so things that should be unmoded. I see that Marbella's or several Costa del Sol, Costas towns are having this debate about horse-drawn carriages at the moment. Because you see them going through the centre of our town of Marbella down here, and you go, really, people who are following. going down the Ricardo Soriano to look at the historic landmarks of Marbella, which this is where the Gucci shop used to be. I mean, it just I do sort of wonder who in this day and age wants to go on a horse-drawn carriage through Marbella. If you're in New York and it's New York in Central Park, different story. But somebody said to me the other day, but these horses, in the centre of Marbella, they go back to, and she's sort of imagining they go back to these lush green farmhouses.
Oh, what else? They're stuck up in the back of the polygonos in terrible conditions.
Yes, indeed.
And there was a bigger problem with one horse dying in the streets. Do you remember years ago? There's no shade for them whatsoever.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to hear from your Mallorcan listeners, Giles, because apparently in Mallorca they've got a terrible problem with traffic as well. Where they had to limit the amount of cars coming from the peninsula and everything. So they probably have a big problem there, and they are trying to, do something about it because the locals are also desperate. So as the other comment that came earlier, you from Mallorca to LA to Marbella to London and Paris and all these places, the traffic is becoming, not becoming, it's been for a while a problem where we spend hours and hours and hours in the car just sitting there, hopefully listening to this program.
Well, indeed, and then people say, but the problem is, we don't want people working from home. Well, unfortunately...
Working from the car?
Working from... Well, wasn't that Roxanne? Roxette, I was sleeping in my car, but Roxette...
That's right.
Rather than working in my car. 952-788-4000, the phone number, studio@tre.radio is the email, the Facebook page is Talk Radio Europe Official. If you're wondering what's happening today, well, you're not the only one, but following me isn't Stephen Ritson. Stephen Ritson is off. He's got an appointment. I don't want to go into medical bits and pieces, I might scare myself. But he's away, so we're going to the BBC World Service. Alan is standing in for Selena all this week, so it will be Alan T with the Lifestyle Show, and on his show today, he will be talking to Poppy Delbridge, talking about how to unlock your power, seven-step to rewire your energy and step into your next level future. No hustle required. I like a little bit of hustle on a Tuesday, don't I, you? Meanwhile, also, following that, will be Paola Ketterer. She is, it's not your average midlife memoir, but a sassy, soul-bearing manifesto for women who are done squeezing themselves into anyone else's comfort zone. Alia, don't look like me like that. You frighten me when you do that.
Simply raised my eyebrows.
Exactly. Guilty as she. Luckily, there is some sanity in this world. Hannah Murray joins us from 4 o'clock. She'll be joined by the always lovely Charlotte Rodriguez, the wine expert from Sevinco. Brenda Navarro, big co-founder of Be Spain Savvy. Great guest, great site. And Sherry Hamby, who's a distinguished research professor of psychology and a leading expert on trauma and resilience. She's the author of Stronger Than You, 4 Pillars for a Stronger, More Resilient You. So there you go, Andres. Now you know.
Now I know.
Yeah, now you know. That's all coming up on TRE Talk Radio, your voice in Spain. Now, Paul's coming. Oh, Cookie says hello. The Ferio de Caballo in Jerez de Ferreira. The Ferio de Caballo in Jerez de la Frontera. Not the Jerez de Ferreira. Sorry, they just horses everywhere every year. What's that about? Well, it's about horses. That's why it's called.
It's the fair of the horse.
Caballo.
Yes,
I think he's got his tongue,
literal translation.
I think he's got his tongue firmly in his cheek. Do you know you're not allowed to feed horses? They're not allowed to be fed in the street or if they're in those carriage things. Mm-hmm. It's the law prohibits it.
Can I just make a difference between the carriages in the Marbella town centre to the Feria del Caballo, the horse fair in Jerez, which is a magnificent spectacle, and there are people who breed and look after. They breed, look after the horses, they train them, they live in fields. They are the culture of the horse in Jerez is absolutely amazing, and it's just, I take my hat off to them because they do a fantastic spectacle, and I recommend people to go and see it. Because it's really, really impressive. So you can't compare how they're treated there in Jerez de la Frontera to those poor horses.
Did you see in Las Vegas some, I must say, demented young woman who was actually participating in a show. She stabbed 3 of the horses.
No.
2 of them were seriously injured, and one, yes, I know. I mean, she's been arrested, of course, and everything.
What's wrong with people?
What is wrong with people? Really?
Not going to be talking about bearskins.
Now, we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. But just to round off for this one, I'll leave it on a positive note for the first half. It was Romaria in Coín, which is where I live.
Very nice too.
Romaria, I believe it's San Pedro. It's Marbella Feria next week. Believe it or not. San Bernabé is on the 8th. But just talking about horse culture.
No, on the 11th.
Sorry, on the 11th.
11th?
Yeah, the 11th.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. But talk about horse culture. I mean, nobody does horse culture better than sort of Campo Spain, and it's the way that places have this transformation that, you know, when a Feria week comes in, Romaria comes around, and everybody sort of changes. It's like somebody waves a magic wand, and you know, the girls at the checkout counter normally suddenly become these absolute sort of divas, these beauties who could have stepped out of Carmen, the opera, you know, and guys prancing around on, you know, with brilliant horse skills, and you just think, this isn't happening in Stoke. I mean, this sort of thing. This, you know, really to sort of bring it home and go, oh, well, Spain's losing some of its romance or some of its allure, but, you know, it's sort of 3 hours of watching people. And I just thought, you know, imagine if that had been the nearest we get to it is Notting Hill Carnival, and somewhat different following a float than following a sound system. We're going news up next in the back of the second half of this morning's Viewpoint with me, Giles Brown. See you after the news.
Talk Radio Europe.
Your voice in Spain. Discuss, challenge, inform, comment, Viewpoint on Talk Radio Europe.
Giles Brown.
Live comment and discussion with studio guests. Viewpoint.
Welcome back, second half of Viewpoint with me, Giles Brown, with you until 12 o'clock today, discussing matters. They can be local, national, or international. If you wish to get your viewpoint across, you want to talk about any of these subjects we've talked about thus far in the show, or indeed bring something, you got something else that you want to bring to the table, then these are the numbers and the ways to get in contact.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95. Message us on Facebook, Talk Radio Europe Official, or tweet us at TRE Talk Radio.
Yes, indeed, those are the ways to get in touch with us. Thanks for this one, by the way. Julia said, have you ever heard, because I was talking about how we don't have a Romaria in Stoke-on-Trent, and I say, no, indeed, we don't, but we do have Morris dancing, you see. Long before social media trends, Britain had Morris dancing, an English folk tradition built on music, celebration, and community spirit, and also, of course, hitting each other with large sticks. So yes, thank you for that. If you wish to come in on the folk dancing question, or Oscar Wilde said you should try everything. You should try everything in life once, apart from incest and folk dancing. True story. It's an Oscar Wilde quote. But if you want to let me know, then you know the numbers by now. Come up today, later today, as I said before, no Stephen Ritson. He has had to have a medical appointment, check up, get his oil changed, the usual sort of thing. However, we go again to our partners at the BBC Worldwide, and so Stephen's away until 2 o'clock. We'll be playing the BBC Worldwide until 2 o'clock, and from 2 until 4, Alan stands in for Selena on the Lifestyle Show in the afternoon before Hannah returns at 4 o'clock. She's back in her usual place between 2 and 4 with TRE in the afternoon.
Viewpoint with
Giles Brown.
Yes, indeed. 12 kilometres that road, that traffic jam yesterday was. I've just been checking on my feeds from the one that started in La Cala or the direction. 12 kilometres of jam. So there you go. Not raspberry or anything like that.
It was 2 lorries, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 lorries blocking the thing whatsoever.
Yeah.
What, did they jackknife across?
Well, they hit each other, and one of them was a refrigerated truck. So therefore...
One of the drivers who was injured had to be taken to hospital,
anyway.
I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, and even blocked up the Piakin. Then there was another one further on, and there was one this morning. And, indeed.
What joy.
What joy, what deep, unfathomable joy. Stay by the fridge or by the pool, I think, to be watching the French Open, Andres.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Looking at some comments coming in, they've got Morris dancing. You ever seen Morris dancing? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm.
With the flagpole and when they're running...
No, that's yes.
No, they go around with...
That's May, that's the May.
That's the maypole. No, they with the sticks.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, have you ever seen... You've seen Morris dancing, haven't you?
Don't they
I
have
have
bells?
seen it, never partake.
They never partaken in Morris dancing?
No.
No? Flamenco?
No.
No, you haven't got up
No,
there?
I'm not a great fan of flamenco or flamenco music.
What?
Well,
Cameron de Isla?
some people like Pedro Sanchez, some people don't.
Yes.
Some people like flamenco, some people don't.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, yes.
We had it.
What a liberal I am.
Yes,
you
what a
see,
liberal
the
you are.
freedom for everyone to decide.
But I suppose I can take about. I suppose I can take about an hour of sort of full on. I mean, hello. I say that, and the lights go mad. We've got to change that light bulb, Carl. I tell you.
Yeah, that was bright. Yeah,
Little like a bleeding. I was going to say Eastern Beirut at the moment. Right, here we go. 952784000. Morning, caller. You're live on TRE. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your viewpoint, please?
Morning, Giles. It's Gary here.
Good morning, Gary.
panel.
Morning, Gary.
Good morning.
To my utter shame,
Yeah.
I used to be a Morris dancer.
Why did you used to be a Morris dancer, Gary? Come on, tell
I
me.
used to be. But sorry, someone laughing there. I used to be the man. I used to be the boy. I don't believe I'm saying this,
Go on.
but it's good to get off your
Yeah,
conscience.
show it with the rest of the
I
room,
used-
Gary.
You're loving this, aren't you? I used to be the one.
Yeah.
I used to be the one that had to go in and out
Yeah.
with the stick, with the balloon on the end.
Right.
And because we were so poor where I came from,
Yeah.
this is a true story. We didn't put little bells on our sticks.
Yeah.
We put beer bottle tops, just nailed in slowly.
I'm-
and that's
That's the. They're not laughing, Gary. They're crying at this. How sad that is.
I just thought I'd phone in and cheer someone up. But,
Oh, that's wonderful. Listen, you did your bit because you're doing eco-recycling,
Yes,
you see, so
indeed.
there you are,
Yes,
saving
indeed.
the planet.
Well, funny enough, that's my other comment. It is so absolute, coming from an island city as well, Portsmouth in England, the only island city, there's absolutely no reason for anyone other than businesses to have cars or just maybe disabled people running around, etc.
Right.
But if you have a coherent transportation policy, then there's no need in Portsmouth to have it. And along the coast here,
Yeah.
surely, I mean, we've got the breakdown in the Secanias, the train on the coast, haven't we? At the end of the year, they're closing it for 5 months. That's going to be absolute bedlam.
Are they closing it for 5 months, Gary? They're
They're closing it.
No.
Yes, between. Yes, it was reported in the locals, etc. About 4 weeks ago.
All right.
From, I believe it's from. Someone might correct me on this. I believe it's from Torremolinos or Fuengirola.
Yeah.
Only goes as far as Fuengirola. But yeah, they're closing it for 5 months. It's going to be absolute bedlam. Especially over the Christmas period as well.
You
For
see,
the Christmas
what we
lights.
need to do is we need to open up the sea lanes, Gary. We should have, there's a coast. We should have water
Exactly.
buses,
Exactly. And can I go back to something you said earlier on about horses?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't see a problem. I've got a cousin who's a vociferous animal rights, and you won't get anyone that looks at animals more than me. But I can't see the perception. If the horses are looked after, and well fed and welfare, I really can't see any problem with that. Maybe it should be seasonal in the summer. Something done in the summer. But I mean, they're animals. The same as us. We're no better and no worse than them. We're just animals ourselves.
Yep.
But I really can't see the problems with that. I mean, someone will most probably call in now and say about the Nihas donkeys, etc. But that should have been limited I believe they've still got, and that should have been limited to weight and size anyway. But as you say, you had a coast. I mean, sorry, I'm off on a tangent. Many years ago, about 20, 30 years ago, in Scotland, they changed I'm so full of them. They changed the dustbin rounds to horse-drawn, and they said that they moved just as fast with the horse-drawn, same speed due to traffic jams, etc. And the mental health of people along the way increased, massively, just going up to the horses, etc. So we seem to be moving. People get motion. What's that old saying? People get motion mixed up with progress. We're moving forward, but we're not getting any better.
The Tower of Pompey on Tuesday. Say that again.
Anyway,
we're moving forward, but we're not getting any better.
Yeah, no, you get motion mixed up with progress. Even though we're moving forward, we're not getting any better.
Didn't Santorini in the Greek islands ban the certain type of tourists from riding on the donkeys because they were too fat?
Yes. Yes,
yeah. I mean, right too. I mean, I saw photographs of those poor animals with some huge lump of lard sitting on top, and you could hardly move.
They've just banned the donkeys again. Someone correct me on this. Either Blackpool or Skegness somewhere in Britain. They've just banned the donkey there. But this is the same as anything else. And I mean, obviously, first of all, it was for children. But now we've got 22 stone blokes on stags saying let's have donkey races, and it's completely changed.
If they're on stags, that'd be different. Oh, you mean stag parties? I imagine like aggressive male rutting deer. That'd be great fun. That would be. I would pay to see that, Gary.
I mean, that coastal idea you said. Yeah. I mean, obviously we've had the one that goes from Benamanda to Fringarola. Yeah. But why isn't that used? Why haven't we got more water taxis?
That you see, there's a thought, and if you had like normal taxis, you had more people, you could just throw a line and they could just hang on. So that would be quite good fun, wouldn't it? They could go direct from those awful beach clubs that they go to. You could drag them from Ocean Club to Nicky Beach. How's that for a plan?
No disrespect. No disrespect to any Liverpudlians. But again, about 8 years ago, it was reported in the local press that they were getting their little cruise line ships to go from Liverpool to Marbella. Do you remember that, Giles?
Yes, indeed.
And yes, that'd be nice, wasn't that? That would be nice form of Well, anyway, I've got to hammer some more bottle tops on my little totem here.
You go there and hammer some bottle tops, Gary. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye-bye. And if you're good, I might come in one day and show you my little totem.
No, okay, there's something to conjure with. Right there, that'll put a smile on your face, a tear in your eye, and a what's in your lower abdomen.
A great call from Gary. Yes. We've gone from Portsmouth to Mijas to Scotland to
water taxis.
Water taxis. Love it. But there was an idea that was being developed, I think it was a couple of years ago, where they wanted to put a commuter water service from port to port, from Malaga to all the way down, so people could commute if they had to come to work in the area and do it by boat.
Yeah.
I think that was only an idea. It never took off.
I took the river bus when I was working in the Reader's Digest building in Canary Wharf, and I took that to Battersea because I was living in, which I used to go to Chelsea, and then I'd walk across Battersea Bridge. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but on a Friday afternoon, in the summer, coming down, pottering along from Canary Wharf to, I can see it now, jet ski to work of a morning.
That would be wonderful.
I couldn't do it for any more from where I live. But
do you know if they stopped the hovercraft going over from England to France?
Yes, I don't think there are any more hovercrafts, are there?
I love them. I used to go on them whenever I could have.
Did you?
Yes, they were wonderful things.
Yeah, it's
enormous.
Enormous.
So smooth.
Only if the water was smooth.
Of course. Because
but any boat is smooth when the sea's smooth.
But I mean, they move at a tremendous. Well, they moved at a tremendous lick.
Yes, indeed. Hovercraft, there's a thing we can have those on the coast.
Can't you have that? Yeah. There you go.
I've just got this idea in my head now.
You've got mini hovercrafts.
I remember from the old days to hear about hovercrafts in the channel.
They're wonderful,
but never been in one.
I'm going to do a new business. I'm going to make mini hovercrafts and rent them out.
What could possibly go wrong? Baba Pule's mini hovercraft.
There you go.
Exactly. Stylish hovercraft.
Alibaba's.
Well, there are more than 40 thieves down here, let's face it. That's for a start. Back with more Viewpoint after this.
Viewpoint on Talk Radio Europe with
Giles Brown.
Yeah, always live, always lively. You see, we've gone down a hovercraft what a thing now. We're talking
the hovercraft route.
Hovercraft route, etc. I was trying to work out. Here we go. The only hovercraft service is now across the Solent, South Sea to Ryde, Isle of Wight. So there you go. If you wish to be on a hovercraft, you can get one of those, an airboat. Yacht World is showing them. I can see it now. I think that'd be a way of getting around. I can get a little 2-man hovercraft. Can you see something? I can show.
Very well. You see, I told you.
Here we go. What do you think? One of those?
Alibaba's.
That looks quite cute.
Isn't that quite cute?
Shame that listeners cannot see it.
It works well on radio. Well, it's a hovercraft. Over any flat surface, water, snow, and ice and mud, etc.
Mm-hmm.
See, but the problem is with being on the Costa del Sol is you have a designated landing area, and then you turn around it and they put a block of luxury apartments by Dolce Gabbana on it, something like that. And a beach bar. No, a beach club. A beach club. There'll be a sax player there. Morning, caller, you're live on TRE. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your viewpoint, please?
Morning, Giles.
Alf, how are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. It's nice and sunny now.
Yes,
Probably
it is.
too.
Now, tell
Can't
me.
see in it because it's bad.
Are we going
Hiya. Yeah, shut up, you. Hiya, Andreas. Hiya, Alia.
Good morning.
Now you can talk.
But were you a regular user of hovercrafts?
I did use the hovercraft a few times to cross the channel. I used it, I think, on a stag do, plus to go on holiday. I also used the cross-channel British Rail service.
Potential customer of Baba Pule's hovercraft's new business.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because every day on my terrace I look out to, I think it's the Mediterranean out here, that different colour stuff, and believe it or not, there's a taxi service. There's a taxi service. I think it runs about every 30 minutes from Malaga Port to Fuengirola Port every day. So, there is a taxi service. The problem is, most people who want to get into Malaga want to do it quick, so they'll jump in the car and bung up the A7. And I'll just say there is a taxi service. What I also found fascinating, when I first came here, when was it? You still there?
You're still here, yeah, you're still here.
Hello, sorry, it's gone quiet.
I'm listening.
Okay. When I first moved...
Alf, he's got problems with the screen of his computer, so...
Oh, right, so he's not paying attention as usual. Is the bulb still working? Well, obviously the bulb's still working because it's blinding you.
I didn't know that there was this taxi service from Malaga to Fuengirola. Do you know the cost of it?
Oh, no, I've no idea.
Oh, okay.
Listen, this is one of those... I would never use it. I can't stand the sea. That's for old sailors like Pompey Gary. Oh, yeah, it takes about 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
15, 20 minutes,
I'll tell you what, 15, 20 minutes, if the price is right, it's not a bad option.
No, but the difficulty is... I mean, I don't know whether business people use it. It obviously gets more use in the summer with the tourists, but seriously, it goes past here. And they might even have 2 boats now. They are boats because they're not very big. They're like as if you was jumping on a river cruise ship, a little thing like that, which holds about, I don't know, 20 people, 25 people. But it literally goes from Fuengirola Port to Malaga Port and back again. Of course, you can always jump on one of those junks in
your opinion, that's not going to solve the problem of traffic.
I've just seen something online called... Sorry, Alf, but I've just seen something online called the Hydro Monster. Can we see this?
That's a dragon that lives in the sea, isn't it?
Feel the mercy. Oh, that's wonderful.
Exactly, and it's basically, Alf, it's this two-man piloted semi-submersible that leaps out of the water in the shape of a shark. Now, I think that would have me. I think that would have me going. Don't you? Yes,
well, we'll have you something. We'll have you changing your pants.
Anyway, yes.
So when I came here, first came here in 2002. You'll recall. I don't know. Were the other two of you here?
Oh, well, 2002. Alia has been here since before even I was here. For goodness' sake.
Right. Okay. So this is what you'll remember. There was no A7. It was the N340.
Yeah.
It was the A7 until about Benalmadena, and then it petered out as they were still doing it into Friendly. But when you went past that and you got to Estepona, on a good day, on a nice onshore wind, as you drove along, it was single track, one, backwards and forwards. Oh, bloody hell. Who's ringing me?
You've got background music, Alf. There you go. I think this is like Simon Bates on their thing, yes.
And I can't shut it off.
All right, so fair enough.
Never mind. I'll sit on it. Right, that's killed it.
Right, okay.
So what used to happen is when the wind came off the sea, it would blow across the beach and it would blow across the road.
Yeah.
So there wasn't even a road. You was driving on the beach. Now, that was in 2002.
Talking about the traffic you saying that, I remember years and years and years going back when Hans was still alive, my husband. We came from Malaga to Los Monteros, Balcón de Golf, where we lived. It took 5 hours.
Yeah.
In the summer traffic, 5 hours. And the poor taxis then didn't have any air conditioning, so we were sort of melted by the time we got to the home. And we put the taxi driver under the water hose. He stripped his shirt off because he was sweating like mad.
Oh, okay.
We stripped his shirt off and we hosed the poor guy down, gave him a towel, and off he went. 5 hours.
But they were all big at that time. They were building the A7 as far as they could.
Yeah.
They were going to go as near to Gibraltar as politically correct. But of course they couldn't go to Gibraltar. When it goes to Gibraltar, it veers off up to Jerez or somewhere like that, because they couldn't possibly have a road network that went from Gibraltar, that British Empire place. So they were building the A7, but they were advertising or announcing about the pay road, the A7 pay road.
Yeah.
So by the time we got here, they'd opened near enough 48, so we didn't get here to live until 2007. So they'd opened the A7 nearly all the way, and they built a lot of bits of the pay motorway, and everybody went, oh, this is really good, because when it gets a bit bunged up down by the coast road, you can go onto the pay road. I forget how much it was, about €2, €2.50. So my daughters work in Marbella, and when the A7, like yesterday, if you travelled on it, which you sounded like you did, when they had the accidents, it's like, oh, how do I get back? We live in Benalmadena. All my kids live here. So they've got to come from Marbella to go on the pay road. Or go on the pay road. So my youngest daughter just says, it's now €10. €10 to use the pay road.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And they can, and I know Andrea said, because I understand the franchise stuff that they've got, because it's a private company, but they could, and I'm sure MIAS, when I was listening to John, and I'm sure MIAS at the time were suggesting that when there are accidents on the A7, or when there are problems and difficulties for people getting backwards and forwards, they should make the pay road free and take away just for that space of time, even if it was just for that. But my daughter just says, it's all right, I'm late now, I'm late for school. I can't help it, I'm not going to keep paying.
Yeah.
It's not like, be honest, it's not like the teachers are paid a fortune.
Yeah.
But worse than that, and I mean worse than that, how many times... Ali will know, how many times have they promised that they were going to extend the railway beyond Fuengirola?
Yeah.
Now,
ad infinitum.
Oh, yeah, but now, as Gary was saying, I was looking at it the other day and I go, oh, this is worse than the UK, because you're now going to get a bus replacement service from effectively Torremolinos to Fuengirola, and then you're going to get a bus replacement service from the other side of Plaza Mayor into the outside of Malaga.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a bus replacement service to the bit where the trams are going, past Clinico, up that way. And you just go... And this all in the summer.
And if you're trying to get to Madrid, you have to get a bus replacement service from Malaga to Antequera because
no, they're putting on special trains now, aren't they? They're putting on these low speed, small trains that's going to overcome all that tourist problem.
That's what we should bring back, rickshaws. I think I think get fit and beat the traffic. Alibaba's rickshaw and hovercraft.
We'll call them Babajis. Babaji rickshaw. Anytime you want one, you come to your home.
You can say that.
I can.
If I said this, yes,
I can say it.
Please do that in which case, because you can say it.
And for Andreas's benefit, with the M25, that was so funny.
Yeah.
In London, there are 3 ring roads, not one. So there's the inner ring road, the outer ring road,
and
the
one
M25.
ring road to rule them all.
And the M25 was not to relieve the traffic in London. It was to relieve the traffic that came into London, crossed London, and went out the other side. So the only real bits of it that should be used is like the Dartford crossing to get across to go up to the M1 or the M6 or whatever, or the southern side a bit to go to the M2. That's and a little bit of the M4 to keep it out of central London. But of course now, because as soon as they finished 3 lanes, because it was a 3-lane road, as soon as they finished the 3 lanes, it was like, wow, there's so much traffic that had been sucked onto it that they had to build the 4th lane. And of course, as they're building the 4th lane, the M25 went from 3 lanes to 2 lanes and 1 lane in some places. So it was like they just built a giant car park. It was a giant car park for about 2 years. And even now, when I went back, they've still got roadworks on lumps of it. They're just slows of, and then they go, oh yeah, well of course it's easy to get to all them pretend London airports. You know, there's London Stansted, and London Luton, and London Southend, and London, none of which are in London, by the way. Never have been, never will be. Gatwick is about the closest.
No, that was your timer just went off. So I think that was. Did you hear that buzzer? That was like interruption. It was like on.
It's probably a delivery.
Can I? I've got some more bits and pieces coming in, Alf. But thanks very much for your call in, and I'll see you Saturday. But thanks, sorry, if you're on the driving routines.
Yes, I'm back on
the driving routine. Thanks.
Bolt duty.
Right, there you go. Thanks very much, Alf. Take care.
See you later.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
952 78 4000 is the phone number. Right, going back to the WhatsApps, if you want to say good morning and get your viewpoint across.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95. Message us on Facebook, Talk Radio Europe Official, or tweet us at TRE Talk Radio.
We're talking about, because I was just checking, when Hannah Murray was in India, we were talking about the TikToks are Thai, and
Tuk-tuks, that's the one.
Yeah.
Hannah Murray.
But they
have a tuk-tuk race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They have a driver in front. They're not the ones where a little man or a woman runs around picking. Those are the rickshaws.
Yes.
Gin rickshaws.
But I'm sure, weren't they called something different is there a difference between the ones in Thailand and the ones in India, apart from one is...
Tuk-tuks are definitely in Thailand.
Yeah.
But they're all over the
place. All over the place. We have some more. There you go then, anyway. You heard it here first. Right, to the WhatsApps we go. Andres Gallardo saying the Sanchez administration is more corrupt than Partido Popular Rajoy administration. Just Googling, there are 10 cases open at the moment. The Rajoy administration had over 200. So there you go.
I knew this, but I knew someone would come up saying, they did worse, years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So, meanwhile, this in from John. John, sorry this is long, but you can select. No, it's okay, we will read it out. The major shutdown is planned to begin in late 2020, this is the. No, I didn't know about this shutting down on the coast. So this is a perfect window opportunity.
This is me.
for the tuk-tuk stroke.
I have months to get organised.
Hold the crafts and all get order, yeah. Or I just saw that thing, the shark thingy. Anyway,
it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Scared of living daylights out of some kids. The major you see, I always wanted to have. When I lived on the lake, I wanted to, whenever there would be domingueros, when I used to live in splendid isolation on the lake, nothing around there, nothing. You know how peaceful it was. And on a Sunday, they would, certain families would come down that track, right, with their children, which was bad enough on a Sunday. But then the one that broke that really, and then occasionally they bring beatboxes, which was bad enough as well, But the one that broke me, and I meant I had to mine the little bit over Lucy's look, because they wouldn't come in front of the casita, obviously, but they could go the bit to the left. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, and one day this family turned up, with not only a 5-year-old child, which was bad enough in any of my book anyway, but a 5-year-old child with not a beatbox, not a sound system, but a karaoke machine. They put a mobile karaoke machine. Where they then blasted out Despacito. It was the summer of Despacito, right?
Oh, that's torture.
For 8 hours with the family going, mi niña, Becky, ay, mi niña. It was like
torture.
It was who would go all the way to the middle of the naturaleza? If it wasn't people trying to put wind chimes and dream catchers in one corner of the house, it was the others trying to have Bulgarian rap or sing. Yeah.
Bulgarian rap?
Yeah, Serbian rap. Yeah. Have you never heard Serbian rap?
No.
Oh, my goodness. It's honestly, it exists.
I am going to go and listen afterwards.
It is the most aggressive music you have ever heard. I used to get that at 4 a.m. from people who'd come down, some strange types, to have a couple of some more vodka in the morning, and suddenly, always in very large 4x4s, Serbian plates blasting out some, basically the devil's toilet music, but you wouldn't go and argue with them. But Serbian rap is the most aggressive move. Yeah.
Okay, never heard it.
But people who go into nature, and go, I want to get away. Why would you bring your beatbox with you?
Why I have no idea.
You want to hear the sounds of me in the morning. Anyway, maybe swiftly on. Right, as we were saying before I was so really interrupted by myself, the major shutdown is planned to begin in late 2027 and will run till early 2028. The railway infrastructure manager, Adif, announced that the C1 line will close for approximately 5.5 to 6 months. So double that for a start. Well, they've just again.
Of course.
No,
you're being conservative there. Double that, he says.
Well, I mean, do you know it's 5 years since they closed the stadium in Marbella for the football stadium to redo that new all singing Nicky Beach. It was basically going to be a football stadium with Nicky Beach attached.
Oh, really?
Did you ever see the original plans?
No.
Oh, they were hysterical. They had like a 2,000-seater thing. They had this thing with people dancing to Dua Lipa, and they had this like cocktail thing, and they had a swimming pool. It looked like or an ocean club with a football pitch attached. And and in the Divina Pastoria, that's going to work well. Park your Lexus there and come back and find it on blocks or being looked up. I mean, it was hysterical. Anyway, nothing's been done on that one. Anyway,
okay.
The major.
Well, the idea is what counts.
They just need to be able to, as long as they can get the runway in for the hovercraft, we don't mind. What you need to know about the shutdown, the cause is required for major infrastructure upgrades, specifically to double a 3-kilometre stretch of track between Campamento Benitez and Plaza Mayor. It will also involve, station improvements, expansion at Malaga Central, and repairs near the Guadalmedina River. The main impact zone. While the entire line will face disruptions, the physical closure will heavily affect the section between Malaga and Torremolinos.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense, because you've only... So, local mayors along Costa del Sol are currently protesting the lack of prior warning and demanding better coordination, so alternative transport plans like replacement bus services are still being hammered out. Because the dates are slated for late 2027, the trains are running completely as normal right now. When the closure approaches, Renfe will be required to establish alternative bus routes to cover the track gaps, especially for commuters heading to the Malaga Costa del Sol airport. Oh, goodness. That is going to... You will remember the old days when you came into Malaga airport, before you came in at that bit, when you came in alongside the San Miguel state, and you came off when and that supermarket was full of squatters, or the whole... Right, exactly, right? Who are having a lovely time.
It's going to be fun.
I know people who literally used to abandon their renter-cars on the side because the queue was that bad to get in and just run across the kite area to get... Anyway. So that'd be fun. Thank you for that. Meanwhile... Cookie's back in, saying the best folk dance, because we were talking about Morris, is Bhangra. Bhangra. I'm saying it correctly.
Indian.
Yeah, Indian. Yeah. Bhangra, yeah, thank you for checking. And she used to take the water taxi from the embankment to Greenwich Pier. Lovely. Meanwhile, excuse me, excuse me. My voice is cracking with emotion.
Your voice in Spain?
My voice in Spain is cracking with emotion. My voice in Spain is just cracked. I'm just cracked. A little factoid from Dawn. Good morning. Christopher Cochrane, a friend of my dad's, invented the hovercraft at his business, which I think was called Ripplecraft, just down the road from here in Somerleyton in Suffolk. Thank you very much. That's good to know. Also, Portsmouth to the Isle of Wight is still working hovercraft, but the sea route Portsmouth to Isle of Wight, Barber Boat and Hover, most expensive in the world, crossing water. Every captain on a hovercraft has to hold an aviation and a sailing license. Because you're kind of... Okay.
The things you learn in this programme, huh?
When Al first moved here, the sea taxis were run by the Phoenicians. Very good indeed.
You're going back a little bit.
A single to Tyre, please. Meanwhile... Stopping at Carthage.
Patia.
Yes.
Patia.
Patia.
Not Pattaya.
Pattaya. What is?
Patia.
What is Patia?
That's what it's called. It's not Pattaya. It's Patia.
When did I say Pattaya?
Yes.
When? Did
Just
I say
now.
Pattaya?
Single to Pattaya, you said.
Single to Tyre.
Oh, to Tyre.
Oh, yeah, the Phoenicians, they originally came
Well, Tyre is not existing anymore because it's been bombed.
Yes, but I'm talking about, that's why I said Carthage as well, which also doesn't exist anymore because it got razed by the Romans. Meanwhile... True story.
I love this programme. I'm sitting here listening to you guys.
Have you never heard of Septimus Africanus? No. Scipio Africanus. There you go, yes. Harry's putting a hand in the air. He's the guy who raised Carthage. I just got a book on Carthage, so therefore... Anyway.
Did you say Carthage or cartilage?
I said Carthage, but no, I get older, you get a book. Yeah, when I was younger, I had a book on Carthage, and now I'm older, my knees are killing me, I'm going to get a book on cartilage. Meanwhile, it's something from the tea this morning. Can you please tell... It's Ali Babapulu, not Myra Azzopardi, who's on the panel today. Could you please... You get 6 months imprisonment for stripping down taxi drivers and hosing them down. Well, disgraceful.
We had to, believe me, the poor man was absolutely dripping. So he stripped off his shirt, and my husband then got the hose.
And as if by magic.
Down, and I went and
got what the judge said about that.
As if by magic.
And then we sent him on his way.
And you said, darling, we must stop using this Chippendale taxi service every day. You go home, darling. I'll just hose this young man down for a while. You get 6 months imprisonment for stripping down taxi drivers and hosing them down wet. You may get 6 months. I have to pay extra for it. Meanwhile, think of the poor rickshaw guy going uphill on the AP7 at Benalmadena. He would be quicker than most of the transport that is currently on the roads, and we're only on the 2nd of June. Into the last 12 minutes of this morning's somewhat different Viewpoint.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95. Message us on Facebook, Talk Radio Europe Official, or tweet us at TRE Talk Radio.
As I said before, just to let you know, Stephen Ritson is unable to make today's show. He will be back. I feel like saying, do you remember the Evening Standard and Jeffrey Barnard? Jeffrey Barnard is unwell. There used to be a columnist.
That was a wonderful play.
Yes, it was. Peter O'Toole.
Brilliant tour de force.
Blimey, that was... Now, I was in London. So that
going back a long time. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. But so not only Jeffrey Bernard isn't well, but Stephen Ritson has got a medical appointment cartilage, and he will be back tomorrow. So we've got the BBC World Service. I said before, Alan T is standing in for Selena, and so he'll be with us from 2 till 4 today with the Lifestyle Show, and then following Lifestyles, Hannah Murray again with her show between 4 and 6. This Thursday, Alan is standing in for Selena on The Me That Nobody Sees.
On the Lifestyle Show, we have a special programme to remind you that you are not alone.
We're losing this kind of physical contact at the time, and it's having a huge impact on our mental health.
We bring experts and other voices that can maybe explain your inner struggles.
What tapping does, it will bring down your emotions, make you more calmer, make you be able to see more clearly.
Why not join me, Selena Mackenzie, on The Me Nobody Sees, first Thursday of every month from 3 p.m. here on TRE, and find your safe space.
Finding your people, finding your group, having a safe space where you can share what you're going through and not feel judged, because there is nothing wrong in asking for help.
The Lifestyle Show
with Alan T.
The Remix, a recap of the best interviews of the week.
Because I always find that people's purpose is to make money, just money and fame.
I didn't want to have to leave that just so that I could be out as a lesbian, or so that I could with people who understand that women should be allowed to drive if they want to.
The philosophical question is usually, do we have free will or not? I would rather say yes, of course we do, in the sense that we have some capacity for behavioral control, but it's constrained by things.
The Remix, a recap of the best interviews of the week. Tune in Saturdays and Sundays from 2 p.m. on TRE.
With the introduction of the new European entry-exit system at airports, you can expect delays due to fingerprints being taken. And it's wise to get to your airport 3 hours before your flight departure time to ensure that you have all the correct paperwork with you, and to find out what rules apply to you. See the Important Airport Travel Info article on the top right-hand side of the TRE website, www.tre.radio.
Parachuting at that time was not for the faint-hearted. Even so, the pilot overshoots the landing slightly and she ends up stuck in a tree.
On Let's Talk, we discuss politics, history, crime, sport.
She can hear people moving around, and your first thought is going to be, are they Gestapo? Are they or local French?
But there's always time for a good laugh.
But luckily, a man comes around to greet her, who is in fact part of the resistance. And his line is brilliant. I wish all French trees bore such fine fruit at this time of year.
Join me, Giles Brown, on Let's Talk weekdays from 10 a.m, except Tuesdays, here on TRE.
And she basically tells him to F off. And that she wants
Get me out of this bloody tree, mate.
Tree, exactly, yeah.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95. Message us on Facebook, Talk Radio Europe Official, or tweet us at TRE Talk Radio.
Thank you. Back for the last 8 minutes. Dawn, Malaga, the C1 Malaga Fuengirola line shut down. ADIF needs to upgrade to metric gauge and modernise infrastructure, track instructions and signalling. The C1 is one of the oldest cercanías lines in Spain, and they want to increase frequency and reliability. So this is full closure: Malaga Centro, Alameda to Fuengirola, Benalmádena, Torremolinos, Puerto Marina, El Pinillo, all affected. ADIF and Renfe and the Junta have already agreed they'll set up a replacement bus service. It'll run Malaga, Torremolinos, Benalmádena, Fuengirola with similar frequency to the train. They're also upgrading the A7 and bus lanes so buses don't get stuck in traffic. Their aim is to keep travel times similar to the 45-minute train ride. El Pinillo and Benalmádena Arroyo de Miel stations will be closed. Buses will stop near them instead. The project is part of the bigger Malaga rail upgrades before 2030. Painful for 1 or 2 years, but after 2028, the line should run every 10 to 15 minutes instead of 20 minutes. Meanwhile, Paul says, I have enjoyed the travel chaos on the show today. Jerez Airport, here we come, by plane, not horse. So there you go. Yes, if you want to get involved with the show, 952 78 4000 is the phone number. Into the last 6.5 minutes of the show now. Andres, there is something that you've been wanting to talk about all this show.
I've learned something.
When I came in this morning, when I arrived behind you flashing in the car.
Something I didn't know.
Come on,
I
then.
know. Well, I guess
most of that is what most of the
I don't know. But I've learned something new today.
Yes, come on then.
And it's the Royal Guard in England. They've got these big hats, furry hats.
The Guards regiments. The Guards regiments, and they're not the
Guards regiment. I don't know the technical names, but anyway, which is it's almost like a tourist attraction, you know. But apparently these hats are made from bearskin.
Correct, they're the bearskins. Yes.
Well, there's a controversy now saying they should make them with something else because false fur, because that is the pro-animal lobby. They're against these hats. I looked into it because it caught my attention, and apparently, it's true that they're bearskin. Yes. So I'm breaking news here. It is true. It's bearskin.
Here for all breaking news.
Apparently, these bears come from Canada. And they're cold because in Canada they
skin on them. That's why, because they've been using hats. They're cold. They've got big hat shapes. They have gaps in the skin.
Let me be serious for a minute. Apparently, they have to control the population of bears because otherwise it goes out of control. And so they use the bear skin for these hats.
Hence the name,
yeah. So I don't know what the problem is because they're not hunting bears to have the hats done. They are bears who are being culled because of the problem they've got in Canada with the bears. So that's the story that attracted my attention. But still, a lot of lobbies of pro-animal activists complaining about these hats.
Yes.
And also learning today that once you leave the service, you have to leave the hat behind. Which I'm very upset.
You can't leave your hat on. What? So if you
you can't take when you finish your service and you sort of go to a civilian life.
Yeah.
You cannot take the hat with you.
Well, why would you wear it? Where would you wear it in civilian life?
No, you put it in you make a feature of it in your lounge or something. You know,
it's decorative.
They need me to go and do the decoration.
You got one of those robot cleaners. You could put it in the...
That would be a good idea.
Yeah?
Or something like that. I think it's it would be a nice feature in your lounge. You said, look, this when I was a Royal Guard, I used to wear this hat. Look at it, it's a talking point for a dinner party, that kind of thing.
I just wear it when I go down and make the coffee in the morning. That and the sarong. That would fry the Amazon delivery boy, wouldn't it?
No. Just imagining this toddling down the road.
But anyway, that's the big controversy about
whilst I order my rickshaw from Alibaba's rickshaw service away from my hovercraft.
And also to say that the minister who deals with the hat, whoever that is,
Ministry for Military,
they said they haven't been able to find a different fabric because he has to endure certain conditions of weather. Wind and whatever, And
you see that he's permanently fed up, that guy in the ministry, because he thought he was going to be the ministry in the military, and due to a terrible consonant error, he's now the minister in the millinery, and that's why he's got to look after bearskin hats. Did you know? I shouldn't have. I knew you were drinking water. That was a bad move. The 14 countries where militaries use bearskin as part of their ornamental duties. Some of them wear bearskins made out of real bear fur, while other units wear caps made of synthetic fibre. Australia, the pipes and bands of the 3rd Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment. Belgium, big on the bearskin, as in Canada. Surprise, surprise. Denmark, we've all seen the pictures of Denmark. Italy surprises me, but it shouldn't do because the Grenadiers of Sardinia wear them. Kenya, just because they can. That's out of synthetic fibre. Not a lot of bears in Kenya.
I was just going to say, do they have...
Yeah. Those crazy Dutch, they wear them.
So all these culling of bears in Canada have to supply all these countries?
Yes, Sri Lanka. The military band of the Sri Lanka Artillery wear black bearskin caps as part of its ceremonial uniform.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Sweden.
Learned something
makes
else.
sense. Is that Spain? The King's Memorial Infantry Unit. Here we go.
No, really?
There you go.
Yeah, here we go.
I didn't know that.
Right. The Regimiento de Infantería en Memoria de Rey Número 1. I'm just trying to look for a picture of this, obviously, because that's going to be
funny.
It's going to be funny, and just for their uniforms.
We have no pictures, I'm afraid.
It
doesn't matter. We're on the radio, so
I'm very up. No, we need to see this.
They have to take them
he
with.
wants to see the picture. He doesn't realise we're on the radio. Even if he finds the picture, no one is going to see it.
We can.
Exactly.
And apparently, just looked it up. When these people in the guardsmen in England travel, they're responsible for their own bearskins. They're put into specially made boxes, which are then transported in air-conditioned places, because, of course, being a skin, it could have a problem and deteriorate. Apart from the fact is, I've always wondered why they don't do them in synthetic fur, because of the weight.
Right.
And that's stuck on your head for hours. I mean, you must have neck muscles like Superman or something to keep that weight on your head.
Yeah.
And you've seen a trooping of the colour in sometimes when it's been so hot and they've got full guardsman's unit on, bang, down they go. And I don't blame them, poor people.
Right.
Did you find one?
I'm very happy now.
He's
found the
happy
picture.
He's found the picture.
Yeah, I found it, yes, indeed. And I found... Come on, show me a picture of the bearskin. Those Spanish bears, I mean, it was Sri Lankan artillery. That's covered. Anyway, on that note, sorry, we're going to run out of time. Sorry, it has been a somewhat different viewpoint today. But thanks to my guest, Andrés Gallardo.
Thank you, Giles. Thank you, everyone.
And, of course, the future Transport Minister of the Costa del Sol, Alia Babapule.
My pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Will this show be repeated once we've found our bearskin hats? Stephen Richardson is not on next, the BBC World Service. I will see you tomorrow with Let's Talk.
The views expressed on Viewpoint by invited studio guests and callers do not constitute an opinion endorsed in any way by Talk Radio Europe.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.